Hey everyone, tonight I'm working on LeetCode challenge number 1768 called Merge Strings Alternately. In this challenge you are given two strings, word1 and word2, and you need to merge the strings together by adding the letters in alternating order, starting with word1. If one string is longer than the other, then simply append the additional letters onto the end of the merge string and you return the merge string at the end. So looking at a couple examples down here, first example is nice and easy. Both strings are the same length. So you would simply alternate A, then P, then B, Q, C, and R to get the output string, which is right here. Looking at example 2, we see an example where the two input words are of different length. So we would alternate A, P, B, then Q. Now at this point word 1 is exhausted. We've gone through all the letters. So you take the remaining letters in word 2 and add those to the end of the output. So you get the output string right here. So hopefully that makes sense. Getting into the code, what we want to do is make sure we're accounting for these examples where the input strings are not the same length. That's really kind of the only thing that really gives this kind of any degree of challenge. So I'll get into the code. What I want to do is just set up an empty string. This will be the variable that we use to build up the string as we work through. Then what I want to do is find what the length of the longer string is. So I'm going to be using the math.max function to do that. So I'll create a variable here, just call this max length, and set it equal to math.max, and this is going to find the larger of the two word lengths of our input words. So I'm going to say word1.length and word2.length. So what that will allow us to do is by finding the longer word and its length. Now as I set up the for loop, let I equal 0, I less than max length, I plus plus, and open that up. Now we know that this for loop is going to iterate all the way out to the length of the longer word. So we know it will continue for the correct number of iterations through that longer word. Now what we want to do is start adding letters from each word alternating onto this variable right here. But in doing so, we also want to check that we're not getting undefined. So essentially we just want to say if word1 at I, if that character exists and we're not getting undefined, if we've gone beyond the length of one of the words, then we want to add that character onto our result string right here. And then essentially do the same thing for word2 at I, check that it exists, and then add it on to our result string. And then at the end, simply return the result. And looks like that is working pretty well there. If we go back to the code and take one more look at it, pretty straightforward as far as LeetCode challenges go. Really just determining the length of the longer word, using that to set up the length of our for loop, double checking that each character exists, and then appending it onto the result variable that we created at the top right here. Hope that all makes sense, and let me know if you have any questions below.